Good day to each and everyone. So I am Leandro Sonico. Then I'm going to discuss about the cataloging, which is my topic. What is cataloging? So do you have any idea? So cataloging is a process of creating and maintaining bibliographic records. In a library catalog, it describes materials such as books, serials, recordings, and digital resources to make them easy to identify and locate. To specifics of activities of cataloging, so the descriptive cataloging and the subject cataloging. So descriptive cataloging, so it includes recording the attributes of library item, such as the name of author, contributor, title, edition, publisher, distributor, date, the number of pages, its size, name of series, and etc. It also enables the users to find an identity of a book. Subject cataloging is a process which is concerned with determining and describing the intellectual or artistic content and the general form characteristics of a resource, and translating that understanding into subject headings and classification notation. Okay, so how to catalog materials. So first is author information. So under for the author information, so first is look for the author or the compiler. Next is write the family name first, then the first name separated by a comma. For example, Carrington John. Okay, letter C under the author's information. So if the material has 2 or 3 authors, so list all the authors' names. So separate the names with a space, semicolon, and another space. So the example is shown below. So letter D. So if the material has more than 3 authors, so use the first only followed by the words like for example it al, which mean and others in Latin. So like for example, agi pong comma, I read aqua it al, that. Then letter E. So if a material has no author, so use the editor or compiler as the author and add ed or com after the name. So for example, dingra, comma, sina, close parenthesis ed, then with that. So letter F, if the author is an organization, write the name in full. Like for example, World Health Organization. So next is the title information. So check the title page and the back of the title page for the exact title. So write the full correct title even if there's a different from the cover. So if there is a subtitle, write it after the title using space plus colon plus space. So here's the format, main title, subtitle. So below are the given examples, so please try to check and observe. So next is B. So it is the material is not a printed publication, not is format in the square brackets after the title. So below are the given examples. Again, try to check and observe. Okay, so another parts of title information. So letter C, if the material is a second or third edition, write this in abbreviated form after the title. So separated by a full stop, space, dash, and another space. So this punctuation helps the information to be easily identified. So below are the given examples. So please try to check and observe. So number 3, so series information. So if the item is part of a series, so write the series in brackets after the title. So given example is below are the given example. So again, try to observe and check what is the given example given. So publication details. So place of publication, if there is no publisher, write in square brackets. So for the example, the highlighted text will be shown as an example. So just observe what is highlighted, the highlighted text. So next is publisher. So the publisher's name follows the place of publication. Write the publisher's name in the shortest form, and the publisher is the same as the author or editor. Use an abbreviation separate the place of publication, and the publisher with space, a column, and other space. So below are highlighted text given serve as an example. So next is date of publication. So this is follows the publisher's name. It usually sufficient to give the year for project papers and reports. So include the month as well is given. So below the number 5, above number 5, rather, so is a sample of the date of publication. So number 5, the number of pages slash format slash length. Letter A, write down the number of pages followed by P. So below is the example. So example is 145, then followed by P, then that. So next is there are no page numbers, estimate the number and put this in a square bracket. So below are the given examples. So letter B, so to catalog braille materials, write down the number of pages or leaves if only one side of the page can be read depending on the type of rail used in the publication. So for example, given example is 34 leaves. So to catalog an audiovisual materials, write down the format and then the length and brackets. If the length is not shown, time the tape. When playing, it is not necessary to watch or listen to the whole tape, only to make the time when it is necessary starts and ends. So example, audio cassette, close parenthesis, 35 minutes. So if audio visual materials also are accompanied by an information sheet, a trainer's guide, or a booklet, this should be mentioned in the catalog separate. This from the format and the length information with a space plug plus sign and other space. So example, audio cassette, close parenthesis 35 minutes plus booklet, close parenthesis 23, then be that. So illustrations are helpful for users to know whether a material contains illustrations before they start looking for the material on the shelves. If print materials contain in any illustrations that are important for understanding the material, this could be mentioned in the catalog. You can do this by adding the abbreviation. So after the number of pages or length separated by a space, semicolon, and other space. So below are the given example. So number 7, notes. So put any notes needed to explain the content of the material. So for example, tape and booklet to accompany the Healthy Woman Counseling Guide radio program. So keywords. So write the keywords separated by a forward slash. Use enough keywords to describe the content of the material. So for example, malaria slash health education slash radio. So number 9, accession number. So write the position number at the bottom right hand corner. So number 10, classifications of number. So write the classification number at the top right hand corner. Okay, so this is the author catalog. So at the right side, it's the author information. Second is the co-author. Third is title information. Next is the series information. And last is the publication details. And on the left side is the classification number. So giving you the title catalog. So on the right side is the author information, the title information, the publication details, the length, the notes, the keywords. On the left side is the classification of numbers, and the bottom is the acquisition number. That's all, and thank you.